And a very good morning to you, Lagos, and thank you very much for joining us. You're listening to Smooth 98.1 with me, Valentine, and
Ayo Myro Essay.
hello, Aya. Let's hear that again so we can hear your voice perfectly.
Oh, sorry, Ayo Myro Essay.
That's right, and of course, Kayode Baker.
Good morning, Lagos.
Good morning. Lagos, this morning on Freshly Press 91 that brings you detailed analysis to our newspaper stories. We have a guest analyst in the studio, of course, in the presence of Cheta Nwaeze. You can find him on Twitter at Chickster. Good morning, Cheta. Good morning. And of course, Ikemesit is Judge Ike.
Morning.
Good morning to you. Lagos, join us in the conversation by sending messages to WhatsApp.
Reach out to us on 0809 444 Also, feel free to jump in. Reach out to us on Twitter at Smooth91FM. Use the hashtag FreshlyPress981 to be part of this conversation.
All right, we'll start very quickly with this first story from Guardian. Eagles ex-star Sodje, two brothers jailed for misappropriating African charity funds. This has come in the news and it appears in more than 2 or 3 newspapers this morning. So Super Eagles former defender Sodje and 2 of his brothers have been jailed for siphoning tens of thousands of pounds. That's money meant for charity that was set up for poor African children. And this was a report that we got from The Guardian. FA is 46 years old, and he apparently connived with his brother Stephen Sodje, who's 43, and an ex-rugby player, Bright Sodje, who's 52 years old. They were condemned by a judge for bringing shame to their family in court, as they were convicted of milking their own fundraising campaign and going under the covers of some legal firm and others. But take us through the details of this story, Cheta.
Well, Efitobori Sodje is 46 years old, so he's a Super Eagles fans of a certain vintage that will remember him. He played for Nigeria at the 2002 World Cup. He used to play centre back, was it? Or, centre back. He also played in 2004 Nations Cup. So that's the vintage. I joke like joke. I mean, Kayode, for example, that used to do sports, doesn't remember him.
I do.
Yeah,
He used to wear the green beret.
About him. Anyway, so the point is that I think that this case, the total amount involved is about £60,000. And I think that the tragedy of this case is the tragedy of a lot of footballers, or not just footballers, sportsmen generally. It's a tragedy of uneducated boys or largely uneducated boys making a lot of money, not knowing what to do with it, frittering a lot of it away, and then turning to crime after they are done with their active sports life. So while it must be said that the soldiers were easily caught out because they are of British nationality, when they retired, they didn't move back to Nigeria, but they stayed in their country. So it was easy to catch. Yes, it's one of those ironies experts. It was easy to catch them by, the simple audit eventually showed it up. The lesson for us here and for everybody really is that aside from the United States, the vast majority of countries in the world have a dichotomy growing up between sports and education. So if you want to pursue professional sports, forget school. I mean, let's look at Wayne Rooney, for example, in England. Wayne Rooney, if he didn't have that glittering career first in Everton and then in Man U, he would have been a bricklayer somewhere. It's difficult not to see that. So for the most part in the rest of the world, you choose one, sports or school. And what it does to career sportsmen is that it leaves them vulnerable to society when their career is over. So, for example, if you notice in recent times in Premiership, for those of you who watch, you see it's former footballers that are doing a lot of the commentary now. Question is why? After people like Lee Hendry, Chris Sutton, Paul Merson ran into trouble after they retired, and most famously Paul Gascoigne.
Yeah.
There was this decision made to help as much as possible their former stars so that they don't run into this kind of trouble. So the question is, can Nigeria do such a thing? The answer is, I doubt it, because we can't even help ourselves.
Do we even trust ourselves to start with?
It's not about trust now, it's about the ability to help ourselves. If any of us here loses our job, there's no safety nets. So safety net for the regular society, then talk less of people who have touched money before. The only safety net is to become a pastor like Taribo West, or to become a political
businessman.
That's the point.
Like
Because
Okocha.
see, JJ Okocha JJ Okocha has actually lost quite a lot of money over time. So it's not as if he now does punditry to cover up. The point is, most of these guys have no training whatsoever, whether in business, whether in school, whatever. So when their career is over, they're exposed to society.
All right, so just a need for mention, Stephen of Berkeley was sentenced to 2 years and 6 months in prison, and the father of one FA, who was the face of the charity, was given 18 months in jail, having received about £7,500 plus an unknown amount of cash from the clay pigeon shoots. Let's move on to this next story, and that's from Premium Times, and I'll come to you, Ikemesit, for this. Top police squad under fire for seizing slain suspects' assets, pocketing millions in rent. From the Premium Times, we have this report that the intelligence response team has been heavily indicted in this case, being that a squad of the police that has not necessarily oversight functions, but has the liberty to make any arrest in any state without recourse to the Commissioner of Police in that state. They said they've been indicted in or accused for allegedly depleting the assets of one Collins Ezenwa, who was a suspected kidnapper, was a former police sergeant as well at the time. They've been apparently collecting rent money on his properties even after his death. What are your thoughts on this, Kenneth?
Yeah, so when you situate this against the larger conversation around transparency and how the police essentially acts, vis-a-vis their functions, it's really quite instructive. I encourage our listeners to just go out and check the story. It's quite a lengthy one, times, but it seems to have been well and deeply researched, barring the odd gaff here and there. For example, the story mischaracterizes him as a stupendously wealthy young man alive, so that's probably an error on their part. But that does not knock out the substance of the story. So essentially, the National Human Rights Commission and Amnesty International, which have been digging into this, have accused the intelligence response team of the Nigerian Police Force of essentially siphoning the admittedly questionable proceeds of this particular individual in question, who, it must be said, is a really, really young. At the time of his death, he was only 31 at the time. So he was a police corporal, and suddenly after he retired in 2017, he started buying houses and building hotels all around the southeast. And yes, there are reports that he started going to Malaysia. Some of the rivers. The reporting does highlight the fact that he started going to Malaysia either in 2014 or in 2017. But there was definitely a Malaysian connection, which raises up a host of questions and presumptions. There are a couple of things from a legal perspective, though, that are particularly worrying about this. First is the IRT was set up by the Inspector General, the Office of the Inspector General. It is said
that's the former Inspector General.
Yes, the former Inspector
General.
Yes. It is said to have a vast jurisdiction on police affairs and police activities across the country. So members of the IRT are allowed to make arrests in any state of the country without recourse to the resident Commissioner of Police. That's problematic from a legal standpoint. I do know with respect to both the Criminal Procedure Act, which is applicable in the South, the Criminal Procedure Code, which is applicable in the North, the Enabling Act that creates the Nigerian Police Force. There is a certain procedure with respect to police investigations and arrests. So you can't just walk into a state and arrest them. So it raises a legal question as to whether a squad that was set up by the Inspector General's office, assuming outside of the boundaries of the law, supersedes legally established provisions with respect to that. Also, when Premium Times reached out to the head of the IRT, he obviously denied the fact that they were involved in this, but he made a point according to the publication. He said that the police is allowed to, or at least his squad is allowed to confiscate the properties of a suspect without a court order under the Armed Robbery and Firearms Act.
I saw it live.
Yeah. Oh yes, I should note that this is the same squad that arrested Evans, yes. Who part of his claim to fame is that he was once Cheta's name. No presumption.
No, it's part of my claim.
It's part of your own claim.
I didn't see that coming, but go on.
Apologies, Lagos, you heard that from him. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So two lawyers who were spoken to by Premium Times confirmed the fact that this is not allowed under the Armed Robbery and Firearms Act. I did check the Act. Section 7.1, which specifically deals with forfeiture of assets, only provides that if if a person is convicted of an offense under that act, then his assets, either movable or immovable, including and interestingly, they highlighted these vehicles, are liable to be forfeited, but they are only liable to be forfeited to the governor of the state in which those assets are involved. And so it says nothing about the police. There is a human angle to this story. The wife of the suspect has, allegedly been the subject of police harassment and brutality. She was arrested and detained without charge
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, for about 2 weeks. Then she was released on self-recognizance for the time being. The police did say that they have filed for the forfeiture of the individual's assets in federal court, but the first hearing on that matter is not supposed to come up until the 28th of January. So this leads to a lot of questions. We'll still be dealing later in the show with the issues concerning the police and their conduct. But then, if you thought that the problem with the police only was only situated in the way they deal with people in their daily interactions, and then folks like FSARS, then you probably really need to look at the story.
All right, thank you very much, Ikemesit, for that. Let's move on to this next story now. It's coming from the Guardian newspaper. Obanikoro explains how he gave Fayose, that's ex-governor Fayose, $5 million for procurement, from the arms deal. It said the money was meant to be transferred. It was, indicated that the money was supposed to be transferred to his account, but that Fayose now asked for it to be handed to him in cash through somebody who was supposed to collect it, one Biodun Agbele. So the Nigerian former Minister of State for Defense, Muslim Obanikoro, on Monday explained in court how he paid a former governor of Ekiti State, Fayose, $5 million. Cheta, please take us through the story.
Well, the story reads like some sort of former's James Bond's novel where they are transferring cash in helicopters and all of that, and I consider that to be an unnecessary diversion. What has happened in my view is that Obanikoro in court has admitted to being an accessory to a crime, and by diverting funds for a national project in person, cash delivered to a former governor, that's him admitting.
And it's the same money from Adasuki, right?
Yeah, the whole Dasuki thing. And if memory serves me, Obanikoro defected from the PDP to the APC in November 7th, 2017. Before that, he was constantly being harassed by the EFCC and the rest. And he was received into the APC at a huge party that was organized in Lagos Island and attended by, among other distinguished personalities, the former governor of Lagos State, Akin Ambode. And so, if we juxtapose this,
You've already jettisoned the mouth of
he's the former governor.
No, he's not.
He's
He's still a governor,
governor.
current governor.
He's the former governor.
No, he's the current
If we
governor.
juxtapose it with what Oshomole said last week, one of Nigeria's worst kept secrets is that when you join the APC, all your sins are forgiven. Typically, there's video of him
I
saying
know,
it.
I'm just saying
Now,
I still can believe it.
if and you are the lawyer, so correct me if I'm wrong. What should have happened before Obanikoro came to court to start singing like a canary is a sort of plea deal agreed. As far as I know, no plea deal was agreed with the prosecutorial authorities. Nothing. Just join APC. His sins are forgiven. Come and sing like a canary and indict Fayose if they don't like. Typically, as part of a plea deal, you give up your recoverable assets in the case involved, up to the value involved, or as much as can be recovered. None of this has happened. So again, we are watching like in the e-money cases and one case and other cases that we will talk about. We're watching gross abuse of process. And then if later the court throws everything out, we'll start saying the judiciary is corrupt. This is where it starts from.
Thank you very much, Cheta. MI from Akoka sent in a message on WhatsApp. It says, what a way to ruin your legacy. Speaking to the footballer who mismanaged funds, it says, I have very lucid memories of him. God bless you, Cheta. Most of our superstars and entertainers do not have a post-stardom plan. £60,000 is not worth soiling your name, but again, he had probably become broke again. All right, Ike says, Cheta, your analysis on Sodje is exceptional, shows that you have breadth and depth. Thank you very much, Ike. And moving on, we have this one. Please add your name to your messages so we can read them out on the show. And we have this message from AG from Arepo. It says, "Good day all. Your analysis on FA Tobore's case is on point, and there's nothing like financial intelligence at any level for the typical Nigerian. That is why people get negatively intelligent when there is a financial crisis. FA should have had a nice time, or should have a nice time in jail for depriving poor African kids he claimed to be helping. This is one reason some people do not donate to charities. God bless you all."
All right, thank you very much for your comments. Now we move over to our next story, and that is that the government PDP CUPP squabble over alleged mayhem plot. This is according to The Guardian and following the address of pressmen by the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. Now, yesterday he briefed reporters in Abuja and said the plan that he claimed he was in possession of credible intelligence of a plot by members of the opposition political parties to unleash mayhem in 10 states with a view to truncating the forthcoming general elections. Now, very quickly to go to the responses by PDP and the coalition of united political parties. Now, according to, just trying to look for the, yeah, I have here. Now, the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Kola Onnoghen, said Nigerians should hold President Buhari directly responsible for any escalation of violence in the country. Indeed, he describes the statements made by Alhaji Mohammed as irresponsible and ludicrous, and the CUPP have described it as laughable and irresponsible. Ikemesit.
It's hard not to. I mean, it's hard not to agree with you. You know, these are some of the things that I, personally, from my perspective, I do not like that he gave this opinion. So when I start arguing with if I do not necessarily want to agree with, I mean, this is just convenient political bullshit. There is, I mean, I could easily imagine a situation where like Mohammed just looked at him up and just picked 10 random states and goes, "Oh, these are the states where the parties are going to cause mayhem." When you look at the names of these states, at least during the lifetime of this administration, and in some cases stretching back to the lifetime of the previous one that these guys, have picked up the battles from, have well documented cases of insecurity. So if a situation commonly happens in Adamawa, in Borno, in Nasarawa, in Southern Kaduna, in Taraba, how do you pin it on any particular political party or any political force when since 2017 all of these states have had a host of well-documented security challenges? It's just political. Blah, 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 blah.
Just before Cheta makes his comment, I need to just ask you a question, Ikemesit. Now, during election time seasons like this, we have the position of the federal government, and also bearing in mind that they're also running as well. They're also candidates also in the running as well. Should they make statements like this that are almost they're inciting with regards to against the opposition parties? Should they be able to make statements like this?
The arguments can be made that it is somewhat irresponsible on the part of the federal government to come out and make comments like this, especially when you do not come up with a plan or a security strategy for how you're going to address this. You're essentially just milking the potential hurt and pain and suffering that people would, especially in the Nigerian context, characteristically go through during the election season for political gain. It does not make sense at all. And if you ever wanted a commentary on the regard that this particular administration has for the lives and livelihoods of Nigerians across a broad swath of this country, there you have it.
Thank you.
Cheta, you had a thought, Sosha?
You just use the word I wanted to use, irresponsible. I mean, this was, see, everybody and their mother could see this coming. As in, anyway, basically, you said you have credible evidence. Arrest them. Atiku entered plane and buggered off to the US last week. You tell us he stole 156 billion, million, whatever from Bank PHB or is it Habib or what? Then he comes back and he's still roaming around free.
Thank you for highlighting that. Responsibility really should be taken into cognizance. Bro.
All right, the next story, moving away from that particular one, another one that definitely had some reactions by people on social media. Twitter, I was reading, was the #1 trending topic, and that is that the IG orders immediate reorganization of FSARS, disbands CUPP and others. This is from the Punch. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has decentralized the operations of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, which was earlier centralized by his predecessor, Ibrahim Idris. Now, he said that with the new arrangement, commissioners of police in the 36 states and the FCT would assume full command and control of all SARS in their command. Cheta.
I think that the newspapers got it wrong and didn't do enough of their homework in this thing, because this is actually a very bad story. The real news here is that the acting IG has decentralized SARS and returned it back to as you were before the SARS campaign began. That's what happened yesterday. It was his predecessor, not Sunday Arasebo before, but Idris Botun, that centralized SARS. So the question is, why did he centralize SARS? He centralized SARS as a response to the viral end SARS movement, when the SARS guys simply put went haywire. So what we are going to see now is that places like Rumupo in Port Harcourt, Okuzo in Anambra, Iyaganku in Ibadan, Ideyo in police station they will control the SARS once again, and they go back to being the torture chambers that they were. I mean, bad as he was, the now departed IG caved to pressure and subsumed all of them for oversight. And since that happened, when that happened, we have the number of cases that we heard of SARS brutality has actually plummeted. So why go back to what was clearly a problem?
Do you envisage or anticipate that, or rather hope, right, that he might have put in measures to curb the excesses of the police at the state level before making this move? It's a hope. That's why I was very careful with the word. But Cheta.
Moving on.
Well, he's actually said that the Commissioner of Police should give him a report on their plans in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks' time, we'll be revisiting this and seeing what the plans
a
of
lot
the
can happen in 2
commissioners.
weeks, but yes.
I had 3 hours of sleep.
Let's be
Alright.
cautiously optimistic, but we'll move on to
Alright, moving
the next
away,
story.
still with the courts. Now again, court stops federal government from removing the CJN. The Federal High Court in Abuja has restrained the federal government from forcefully removing the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, from office. Now, Justice Edward Eko gave the order yesterday in Abuja while ruling on an ex parte motion brought by the Action People's Party. Ikemesit, we've been on this news story for a few days, and update here. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, it's not going away. So essentially, as I always customarily say when we do stories that involve ex parte emotions, unfortunately first, this is essentially a procedural matter. The main meat and the gist of the story has happened, at least with respect to the courts. It's worth noting that another justice of this same court, Justice Ibrahim, also issued 2 separate orders earlier, I think towards the end of last week or so, also brought by other interested parties with the same facts and all of this. It's worth noting. So moving away from the legal perspective, when you look at the broader, wider political picture, a lot of people have been agreed on how the federal government, I should not say the federal government, the federal executive has managed the situation from a political optics standpoint. It has not been government good. It looks like one arm of the government trying to stimulate itself, and another arm of the government, and lots of people are naturally agreed and they're taking out improvements in the courts. What's interesting how these things go. The matter has been set for accelerated hearing, so there should be a lot more developments on this pretty quickly.
Thank you, Ikemesit. Bengus sent in a message on WhatsApp. He says, I follow the police his intelligence response team closely and really proud of its achievements led by the ACP Carry. One of its achievements is the arrest of the billionaire kidnapper Evans and one notorious robber terrorizing the southeast in Imo State. I just hope this allegation is not true. And Olu says, Cheta, I know a few of Obanikoro's properties that were locked up and are still locked up by the FCC. Why did you not analyze Fayose's role in others? Because APC was not like him. But anyway, that's Olu's sentiments there. Kwemi says, the politicians we have today do not treat the issues, they prefer throwing jabs. And then we have this other one from Shegun. Shegun says, APC's alarm was irresponsible, but PDP has been raising irresponsible alarms throughout its campaign. As an opposition party, PDP is lucky. If they win elections, they can't be held to account because they've not promised anything in their campaign. It's all been negative scaremongering. All right, let's move on to this next story.
So this next story comes from the Guardian newspaper. It says Pengaston flays local oil firms over abuse of labor laws. and they're talking about the fact that well, they're describing the firm's anti-legal laws, and they're saying it's unacceptable. Basically, comes to Ikemesit.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. So typically, when Pangasan in the past was sufficiently moved to make these allegations, it was the big multinationals, right? The big foreign multinationals that used to be guilty of this. Now they are figuring out the big local oil firms in this regard, and they are accusing them for essentially accusing them of the same things that the MMOs are allegedly doing: casualization, contract staffing, outsourcing, offshoring. So the thing is, a lot of the things that Pengasan is calling out aren't exactly things that the companies can do too much about. It's more a question of regulation and also the economic environment in which we're operating in. If you are a business owner trying to deliver as much value for your shareholders while maintaining a going concern, some of these things, some of the things that they do are absolutely legal. Absolutely legal, not just in Nigeria, but also in other parts of the world. You've got a situation where union membership globally is at all-time lows. People, and the structure of the global economy and the Nigerian economy as well is also shifting in that direction. So there's really not a lot that they can do. They have to remain competitive. They're competing against the big guys. What do you want them to do?
All right. Thank you very much, Ikemesit. We'll go to Twitter for this message from Sherry Ifatena.
Now, he or she has a message for you, Cheta. She says, Oga Cheta, please stop the mudslinging. Now, Obanikoro plea bargained, returned some money, and agreed to be a prosecution witness.
I wasn't aware of that.
Well, there's a report on Punch that Punch newspaper that he returned 134 million naira to the EFCC.
On this particular case.
All right, we have more messages.
I was aware of that case, so I know I've been following this Dasuki case. It wasn't announced as part of the debugging arrangement.
Emmanuel from Apapa sent in a message on WhatsApp. He says, as usual, Mr. Ikemesit makes a balanced analysis on the issues. Thank you very much, and that's the meat of that message. Papi K says, Ikemesit, you're a lawyer. Please, how much can the CJN have since inception to date? Have you seen the imbalances in the domiciliary accounts?
He's been a judge of superior
He's been a judge
courts
of the Supreme
records.
Court since 2005.
Yeah, and he's been a senior judge for decades before then. These guys are relatively well paid. Why are people asking?
But
Wale
begs to differ. Wale from WhatsApp says, I'm not a fan of Buhari. The judiciary brought this on itself. How do you explain the humongous amount found in his account? This is moral issue. My uncle was a judge and I knew how he lived. No show off in any way, a very Spartan lifestyle. Have things changed since then?
We don't know how the CGN lives. You just allegedly saw some bank account balances. Calm down.
Let's run to our last story for today. This one from Premium Time says, Onnoghen, court stops the FCC from arresting Fani, Kayode, and Odumakin. Cheta, your thoughts?
See, I didn't know that the EFCC now tries fake news. Remember, no, it's true now. The EFCC's remit is financial crime, not fake news. A few days ago, Fani Kayode went on social media and blocked on his Twitter, so I didn't see it, but people showed me his screenshots.
He blocked you?
He blocked me a long time.
Oh, wow.
I don't like him.
I wonder why.
Huh?
Yeah,
He-
I wonder why.
He blocks anyhow.
But go on.
Yeah. Anyway, he said that the EFCC had surrounded the CGN's house and all of that. See, what the EFCC should do is sue him for everything he's got. That's what they supposed to do. Is no, again, it's all these procedural matters. In that respect, in doing that, he's hitting up the police, the same as Uncle Lai is doing, and he does that regularly. I mean, for a very long time before he suddenly became the great friend of Ndigo. Fani Kayode used to write articles slandering the entire ethnic group. So it was on one of those issues that I criticized him very heavily, and the answer to such people usually have is to just block. He still does it. I get screenshots of his nonsense on a regular basis. EFCC should sue him.
Go on, sorry, go on. Yes, go on.
Yeah. So
Should I speak Igbo?
No.
The nonsense is English now. Because anyway, so EFCC's remit is financial crimes, not fake news. They should. So what we should be seeing in the court is EFCC versus Fani Kayode issue of libel, slander, asking for 20 billion in reparation for damaged reputation. They will win the case. They may not get the 20 billion, but they will win the case. Haba.
You don't seem to be the only one that's been blocked, Cheta, because Trevor Noah's lapel pin sent us a message on WhatsApp says FFK blocked me on Facebook as well. Yeah, so we have more messages. A very quick one on Twitter. Somebody sent you a text for Obanikoro's refunded sum to the EFCC. But that's where we end the show today for Freshly Pressed 91. Thank you so very much for joining. Thank you for your messages. Special thanks to our analyst at Ikemesit Effiong. He's at Judge Ike on all socials, and you can catch Cheta at Chickstarter, CHXTA. Send him your tweets if you have comments or queries.
Make sure you
Please
tell
don't
me
block
make
him.
him block you.
No, I don't block. I mean, I'm all comers out there.
Good to know. Lagos, in the next 14 minutes, we'll talk entertainment inside of the grapevine. Join us then. Smooth breakfast.